there were two up-and-coming teams playing on Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network, and that was the Bills and, of course, the Cleveland Browns. And there was a big scare last night, of course, with E.J. Manuel going down, and as well as Brian Hoyer, of all things.
But the newest update, he's out for the rest of the season.
He's out for the rest of the season, as Shay just said.
And,
so, guys...
And Atticus just said that E.J. Manuel could be out for a few weeks.
What do you gather? Does the win really matter?
I mean, the win kind of matters because Brandon Weeden came in pretty early, and he led them to victory. I believe the score was 37-24 officially. So the Browns won their third straight, and their third straight after trading away Trent Richardson. However,
Yep.
So
which is bizarre in itself. But.
So I mean, Brandon Weeden and Brian Hoyer were going to be fighting. The head coach said that he was going to analyze them week to week. So I guess Weeden wins
by default.
By default right now, but Hoyer was doing really well. I liked him the past 2 weeks, and he started out pretty well last night too. It's a shame that has to happen, but I mean it's not all that bad for Cleveland because they do have a backup that was actually starting. He was the opening day starter for them. Now E.J. Manuel, he went down. He was really a spark plug for this offense on the Bills this whole season. You can argue that they wouldn't have won a game if he wasn't the quarterback. And their backup really didn't look too well last night. I forget who the backup was.
Jeff Toole.
Yeah.
I wish he played week 1.
Yeah, so
against the Patriots.
So, that could be very worrisome for the Bills. That's just an unlucky shift for Buffalo, and it's sad to see that happen. But he won't be out for the whole year, hopefully, unless he hits a major setback. So we'll see how that goes.
It's been a tough year for E.J. Manuel so far, though. In the preseason, he got hurt, and now he's getting hurt for a few weeks. And it's a knee injury, so it's always tentative that it could be more. And Brandon Weeden, he led the team back, but we got to also acknowledge Josh Gordon, who is quickly becoming one of the top young receivers in the NFL.
Oh, he is. I actually had him starting for my fantasy team last night. Got me 14 points. I'm very happy with that. But no, he was suspended for the first 2 games, I believe. And the first game back, he exploded onto the scene. I think he had over 120 yards and a touchdown. Then last week, I think he had about 80-something yards. And last night, he had 80-something and a touchdown as well. So he is looking very successful, along with Jordan Cameron, the tight end that's really busting out this year. Last night his game was down.
He had 3 receptions, 36 yards.
Yeah, but that's a bad game compared to his last 2 games where he would get 100 plus and 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, whatever. But that Browns offense, they got rid of Trent Richardson, but they do have some offense. Some weapons on their offense.
The thing I noticed about the Browns is they targeted a multitude of guys, but 6 guys that all had catches last night for that team. So they have targets who can actually catch the ball. I mean, they're leaning, of course, heavy on Gordon, who, applause to him, 86 yards, 4 catches on 6 targets and had himself a touchdown. But they do have some people there that are at least throwing the ball, and they comprehend the playbook. So there's a spread.
Greg Little's also good, too. And about Josh Gordon, I was just thinking about this. Once they could have got RG3, remember that Josh Gordon was his number 1 receiver in college? If they had RG3 right now and Josh Gordon, the Browns could be one of the top teams in the NFL right now, or one of the rising teams. But they're 3-2. They're number 1 in the division, and they're certainly proving a lot of people, including me, wrong.
Yeah, they are. Like you said, they're on top of their division right now. I mean, by a half game because the rest of the teams haven't played, but they're 3-2, and everybody else is 2-2 except for the Steelers, who are 0-4, surprisingly. But yeah, that's really cool to see from Cleveland. This NFL season, they've got a lot of surprises.
What did you think about Willis McGahee getting 26 carries last night? He said he's not going to be, he's no Trent Richardson, but coming in, of course, a long-time Buffalo Bill. What did you think about his performance coming in at 72 yards, averaged about 3 yards per carry? He had a touchdown on the night, but that's a lot of carries. 26 for one running back.
For an aging running back.
Yeah, for an aging running back, that was a lot of carries.
Who also had an injury that ended the season last year. But they signed him. They worked him out. He's healthy. They signed him. They gave him 26 rushing attempts,
but now they're going to lean heavy on that running game.
They are.
If that's a tool of theirs, are they equipped? Is Willis McGahee a horse you're going to run to the races?
Honestly, I don't feel Brandon Whedon. I like Brian Hoyer, but he's not much of a drop off from Brian Hoyer. So they're still going to be back to passing. And, yeah, they have a lot of talent at receiver. While Willis McGahee, I don't necessarily trust them to handle a full load from week to week.
I just want to throw this out there. Brandon Whedon's QB rating, do you know what it was last night?
I don't.
35?
42.3.
42 points.
Do you know what Brian Hoyer was?
91.7.
Now, he had less snaps, of course, because he got hurt.
Yeah, 4 snaps.
Right. But
4.
He was at 92. He was 2 for 4 on the pass. But I'm just going based on the quality right there. 42. It's like one of the worst in the NFL.
Yeah.
Not that worse. Not that much worse. That's pretty bad. Sacked 5 times. Averaged 8.2 yards per pass.
His confidence is down too because he was benched in favor of Hoyer, or I think he was injured.
Actually, it was
right?
due to an injury. Then Hoyer led the team to a win. So
but Hoyer led the team to the win, and then when Whedon came back healthy, he was sitting on the bench. So Hoyer won the job because Whedon was injured, and that kind of hurts his mentality. Like, hey, I'm not safe here. I'm not safe to be the starting quarterback here, and he needs to step it up and play like it, or else, Josh Freeman was just dropped, so maybe the Browns might go after him. We'll see. I mean, I have no idea where Josh Freeman's going to go, but if Whedon doesn't keep it up, if Whedon doesn't, boost his stats and things like that, if he doesn't play like a winner, who knows?
And I just find it a coincidence. After they traded Trent Richardson, they become 3-0. So that probably has something to say, like, was Trent Richardson a locker room problem? Was there more than we know than why they traded Trent Richardson? Because I know 3 weeks ago I certainly blasted them for trading Trent Richardson, but they definitely shut me up.
And let us know what you think about the Browns and as well the Bills with their in this debacle right now by calling it at 718-990-3SJU. If you don't know the acronym, it's 718-990-3758. That's 718-990-3758. You can call in and talk with us. Of course, Atticus George is standing by, awaiting patiently for your tweets. You can reach him with the Twitter handle at Cover3 WSJU. That's at Cover3 WSJU. And there's a big game coming up as we're coming up on the 2 o'clock hour. It's going to be Saints-Bears. And the Bears last week got handed what was a pretty disappointing loss. And the defense really didn't show its part and how daunting it's been so far this year. Of course, this is a Super Bowl back in 2006, I believe it was, a rematch of them when the Saints won their Super Bowl. Drew Brees, he led that charge.
No,
what year was that?
That was 2006.
Then they had to come back here.
But the Bears won in the NFC Championship to face the Colts where they lost.
All right, so what year was
the Super Bowl? I believe that was the 2006. That was Super Bowl 40.
All right, but the Saints won the Super Bowl.
No, Saints won the Super Bowl later.
Yeah.
But not that year.
Hunky-dory.
Yes.
All right. So what do you guys think about the matchup?
I think this is going to be... I mean, I know the Bears defense got lit up last week in Detroit, but the Bears are home this week. The Saints, we all know what the Saints offense can do. The Bears are 2-0 at home this week. It's going to be one of those classic matchups against one of the best offenses in the league and against one of the best defenses in the league. And I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Bears' offense does have good playmakers. Matt Forte is doing well. He's healthy this year. Of course, they got Brandon Marshall. Jay Cutler always throws to him. Their second receiver, Alshon Jeffrey.
Alshon Jeffrey.
He's got some talent too. So the Bears have a lot of talent on their offense, but I mean, it's hard to go against the Saints' offense.
Alshon Jeffrey too has been getting increasingly better every game too. If you look at his receiving stats throughout the games, he started at like 11 in the first game, and last game he ended with 122 and 2 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah,
he's really showing up.
And not just receiving, he's also a rushing threat as well on those reverse plays. And
yeah, he's a big man, but he can get up the field.
Yeah, he is. And that just shows me that Jay Cutler's putting more and more trust in him each week. Because last year, all Jay Cutler would throw to was
Brandon Marshall.
As a wide receiver. They also have Martellus Bennett.
His number 1 option was Brandon Marshall. His number 2 option was Brandon Marshall, and his number 3 option was Brandon Marshall.
And the check down was Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Handoff was Brandon Marshall.
Yeah. So, Brandon Marshall was their whole offense last year. But now they have, like I said before, Matt Forte's healthy. He's doing really well. Martellus Bennett is one of the best tight ends in the league, in my opinion. Their line isn't that bad. They're keeping Cutler up.
But who's going to stop Jimmy Graham?
That's true. I mean, maybe put Lance Briggs on him or something like that. I really don't know. It's hard to stop.
He's the best tight end in the NFL right now.
Yeah, it's hard to stop these new hybrid tight ends such as Jimmy Graham.
Graham and Sproles were just still in that last game. I mean, Breeze, too, for the 10th time in his career, threw over 400 yards. And to go back to Graham and Sproles, both with 2 TDs, it really gives real flexibility to this offense. And I think it speaks to the how effective and beneficial it is to have Sean Payton back. We see how much more uptick these things are, and as well the defense, at least responding and being effective when it needs to be, and that speaks to the changes they've just made, which have just been so big for the squad. So, yeah, I think it's on point.
Yeah, it is. The Saints' offense against this Bears defense, I'm really looking forward to it. It's in Chicago, so it's not in the dome that the Saints are used to. I mean, it's not like it's freezing outside in Chicago right now, like it is anywhere except for you.
Actually, I don't know. Let me go check.
All right.
Let me hop on a plane real quick.
Okay,
I'll be right back.
All right, we can check the cover 3 jet again, but I do like this matchup. I think it's not, it's not unknown that the Saints or any team that plays in a dome stadium, the offense is faster in the dome on the AstroTurf. Chicago is outside, so that might have some effect on it. Mike, what do you got with the weather?
It's supposed to be 63, but with clouds and rain on Sunday.
Okay, so it could be might be sloppy.
Hey,
might be sloppy. That could force
sloppy
mistakes.
Game.
So, I think the favorite is New Orleans. Actually,
yeah, it's kind of a split. I'm going to take New Orleans.
Yep.
I think they're going to catch on the road though. That's no small feat.
Seeing how New Orleans dismantled my upset team, the Miami Dolphins, it's tough not going for New Orleans. But I feel like Chicago will have enough at home, especially with the weather, to beat New Orleans. So I got Chicago.
See, I'm going to go – I think the Saints looked at the tapes from last week, how they saw that Reggie Bush dismantled the Bears defense, and I think Darren Sproles going to have a big game. They're very similar players. I'm going to pick the Saints, and Darren Sproles is going to be like one of the offensive stars of the game.
I'm going to go with the Saints too. I mean, they're 4-0. Their passing game is just lights out. Second in the league right now, barely behind the Broncos. I just don't think Chicago has what it takes to stop Jimmy Graham or Darren Sproles.
So it looks like I'm the only one going against the Saints this week again too.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe you should rethink that. You're going to get burned again. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Just stop Jimmy Graham, and hopefully can stop Jimmy Graham and Darren Sproles, and you can come through.
Oh, yeah. It's easy. It's easy.
Yeah,
right,
easy.
Shay? It's simple.
Matter of fact, I changed my pick.
You can't change your pick.
I got the Saints.
You can't change your pick. That was locked in.
I got the Saints.
Yeah, we're cover 3. You have to lock people in. We can't, make it loose now.
So, we got you locked down.
We got you locked down. So
except for you, Shay. You're just falling.
Flip-flopping, man.
Yeah.
Flip-flop.
What are you doing? You're waffling. Go down to IHOP.
I've got the Saints in the pick for the win.
Yeah.
On the road. But that's a big game. I agree with Atticus's points.
Yes.
I think Chicago's defense can be picked apart. And once that test is accomplished, I don't know if Jay Cutler really – I'm not a big Jay Cutler guy.
You are the biggest Jay Cutler hater I know.
I'm just not a Jay Cutler guy. I wouldn't want him on my team.
There's a lot of Jay Cutler's haters, but I think you're the biggest one I know.
Really?
Yeah.
My goodness.
The Saints
and I'm a Packers fan. I don't hate Jay Cutler that much.
I'm actually a Jay Cutler supporter.
You are?
Yeah, I think he's a really good quarterback.
The Saints have the 5th best passing defense in the
That's
in the
true.
league
Their defense
too.
is really successful
So
behind Rob Ryan.
Jay Cutler is really going to have a good game.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. We'll be back for more, right?
Oh, yeah. I think we got time to come back for more.
We got another hour ahead here on WSJU. Keep it locked in with Cover 3 right here on the voice of St. John's University and your home for everything Red Storm.